it's Martin from the Washboard Resonators. Let's review this amazing Michael Messer Guitars Fiddle Edge Dobro. So I will share you some sounds with this guitar shortly. Before we do that, let me just tell you what this guitar is. So a quick history lesson. Dobro split from National in 1928. They were trying to innovate always, and one of the ways was making metal body guitars. Instead of soldering the tops to the backs to the sides, they tried to come up with a system where you crimp the sides, and a bit like those metal kind of ammunition boxes that you'd see, things like that. It was meant to be a quicker way of doing it. I think in reality it didn't really work out very well. They only made about 400 of these through the mid-30s. Since then, these guitars have become quite mythical, quite collectible. They're renowned for having a great sound, like a normal Dobro, but with maybe a bit more body. Now this is where Michael Messer enters the picture. He's a great blues guitar player. Johnny Cash did the liner notes to one of his albums. And he has a brand of guitars which are made in the East, but with great quality control. I love those guitars, they're great quality. Now he decided to try and remake the Fiddle Edge, and in doing so, he encountered lots of reasons why they probably only made a few of these. Now Michael announced the release of these guitars through our Washboard Resonators podcast. If you want the full story of reproducing these, I'll put that link in the description below. But basically what Michael found was that there's a massive fail rate, maybe a 50% failure rate in when you kind of do this crimping around the body all squashes in. So he's got these for sale. This is like a second that I got for a very, very, very good kind of price to try. And it's a great guitar. So you'll see it's got the brass body, the mahogany neck. The tuners are really beautiful looking and work really well. The neck's got a good feel to it. It's quite similar to my 33 style 33 Dobro. It's very round, probably like a D shape. So I will also copy into the description below a link to a Dobro comparison in case you want to hear how these kind of guitars fare against wood body Dobros. So now you know what these things actually are and the history of them, let's look at some sounds. The first thing to say is that this guitar is very, very, very full sounding for a Dobro. They're kind of famous for being quite bass, you know, quite trebly, quite nasally. This has got a lot of body and presence to it, a lot of warmth. I think the brass body helps. The other thing that Dobros are famous for is their sustain. I think most people associate Dobros as being the kind of instrument that you would play face up in like a bluegrass band because of the sustain and the honk, that ability to cut through and compete with violins and mandolins. I think you can't underestimate Dobros as a sort of Delta blues instrument for slide. The Dobro is a sound that you associate often with like film music, you know, deserts, people driving down deserts, cactuses in deserts. You'll often hear that kind of thing, won't you? I often think one of the overlooked things with Dobros is they make very good strumming instruments. If you've got a studio, if you record TV, film music, what you might find yourself thinking is you want something different that's maybe rootsy to sit in a track. You could choose a banjo, you could choose a guitar just for strumming rhythm parts. Another thing that I like about these metal body Fiddle Edge Dobros is the ability to they can get quite loud and quite nasty, more like a single cone national style guitar. Might be hard to tell here because the foam will compress, but there's a lot of volume there. If you're learning about resonators, there are three main kinds. There's the spider bridge that we associate with the Dobro style guitars. There's also the single cone biscuit bridge that you associate with nationals, and the tricone style that you associate with nationals as well. They've all got very distinctive kind of sounds. I personally think, you know, having played now dozens of these, vintage, new, a metal body Dobro gives a really good full sound. Those vintage fiddle edges, by their nature, are quite expensive and hard to come by. I'm looking, you know, I'm always looking for them. This is a great way into one, which is all modern, set up beautifully in the UK by a guy called Dave King, who is like an authorised Martin repair guy. He works with Michael to get these set up. They're set up to perfection. They are beautiful guitars. I like what Michael does. I like his music. I like the guitar brand. So I am maybe a bit biased, but I just think what Michael really tries to do is bring you an instrument that's really high quality for a good price, and a big part of that is by speccing certain things on his range. It's the thickness of the metal, the kind of wood, but they all get set up here in Britain by a guy who really understands resonators, and that can make the difference between a resonator giving 100% or only giving 70%. It's about how you cut the saddle, it's about break angle, it's about how the nut is cut to keep the guitar in tune, and that gives her a really good quality product. So I thought I'd do this, share this, simply because I've spoke to, you know, 2 or 3 people now when I've been out gigging with the washboard resonators. They say, oh, I saw that thing about the Fiddle Edge on the podcast, and they seem really interesting. What do they sound like? And you know, hopefully this video will help people decide if they want to buy one of these amazing Fiddle Edge guitars. So there you go. Like, subscribe, comment. It really helps me and Jack, the washboard resonators. Go to the description, join the mailing list so you can come and see us, and we can hopefully, you know, keep this old-time blues, jazz and swing alive and kicking all around the UK and beyond. Thank you and bye-bye for now.